This is John Williamson. I'm the Executive Director and Founder of K-12 Food Rescue, and just want to share a quick story here on West Virginia Share Table Policy Diary. You can see that there's a date on here of January 8th of 2018, and this is Jenny Anderson, and she kind of started a post in a Facebook group, and you can see the first post there. And you've seen Share Table posts from food rescues since 2014, so that's not unusual. But if we just scroll up, you can see that she begins to make posts about how you can actually make policy change, and she becomes a part of this group, Families Leading Change, and she's got all these different ideas to create policy, and a big post here on the last step, how a bill becomes law in West Virginia. And you keep scrolling down, and what you eventually see is that she connects with a delegate in West Virginia, and they write a bill. We're like February 2018 at that point, and you can just look how quickly that was just a month into it. You can see just the delegate said, just got word that West Virginia Share Table has been placed on the special House calendar. And you just scroll up through this whole Facebook page, and from conception to the signing of the bill, what was this, February 22nd, halfway through, the West Virginia Share Table passed, and it's on to the Senate. And if you continue to scroll down, or to continue to scroll on this, there's a post on February 26th where it's on the Senate Education Committee, and you continue to scroll, and there's March 2nd where the delegate is presenting the bill regarding share tables. And if I continue to just scroll, I'll eventually get to the point where the bill gets signed into law, all due to the lobbying efforts of just one person that said, hey, let's decide how we're going to change some policy. And there it is on April 11th, 2018. Pretty amazing. And I want to include videos of the presentation of the delegate to the committees, as well as an edited version of the governor signing the bill. So thanks for listening, and I hope you can watch the rest of the video seeing how all that worked.
And these great delegates and these great people here have come up with something that is such a blooming no-brainer. A lot of times in this great country, we throw away way more food than we even eat. And what they've come up with is a way to just do this. You've got a lot of kids that are hungry, and maybe only a meal or two a day that they even get, and those are meals that are at school. And maybe they've got people at home that are really hungry as well. And so they come up with an idea that says, listen, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to allow our schools to be able to give away the food that we really basically every day just throw in the trash cans. And so of all bills that are just a complete no-brainer to what we should be doing, somebody, and it took you guys, it took kids, it took these guys to come up and say, why don't we do this? And here's the thing that you may not know. You see all this white hair and stuff? This guy with all the white hair would tell you this, that oftentimes the very simplest ideas are the ones that are the very hardest to see and identify. And once you see them, then you know what happens? Then everybody says, well, I'd have done that. But some way, somehow, it just misses us. So I thank all of you, because this will, if it touches one person, just one person, then just think what you've done. And it'll touch a lot of people, a lot of people. So we're really good. We're going to sign.
Next item on the agenda is House Bill 4478, authorizing public schools to distribute excess food.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the committee. It's a good bill. It's a good bill because many times we come with ideas but they have a cost. And here we have a good idea with no cost. These meals are being prepared. These meals are paid for. These meals are being reimbursed federally with the federal dollars. And we have to, under the rules, provide, for instance, lunch. There's 5 items, 4 of which have to be given to the child in order to have a reimbursable lunch. But if that child says, I don't want to eat this apple, or I don't want to eat the package, a food bar, fruit bar, then it's thrown away right now. So the Shared Table Initiative simply says, let's reroute, be good stewards of this food, and route the unused food that is reusable to the children that are hungry. I think the reason this is kind of coming up now, to answer the Senator's question, it wasn't until June 22nd, 2016 that the USDA sent out a memo. And in that memo, they, I think, tried to quell some concerns that many states have of whether they could do this. The truth is, it's been going on in a lot of our schools for a long time, but we've had teachers and food service directors scared or worried that they were going to get in trouble. But at the end of the day, they weren't going to throw away pounds of food while kids went home hungry, so they did it anyway. So a lot of questions were raised. The USDA spoke out and said that they encourage state agencies to support operators in their efforts not only to increase the consumption of nutritious foods, but to minimize food waste in their programs. To do it safely, as another senator mentioned, we require the involvement of the county health officials. Nobody wants to do anything that would harm these children. So in coming up with your policy, each county, under the direction of the state, will involve the county health department to say what is and is not acceptable. And your plan can be as simple as a literal shared table. You know, a table on the way out that you can grab a couple of apples, take home that night. Maybe your school or county wants to do more. You can go to a backpack program and send it home with the kids like we do at Huntington East and Huntington Middle. Or you can take it a step further and contribute unused food to community feeding programs through, say, your missions or food pantries or church groups. So it really gives latitude and flexibility to our counties and our state to have a plan, and whatever your plan is, at whatever level you wish to participate, some child will take home some food that otherwise is going to go into the garbage can. And that's the idea.
And we appreciate that, Chad. Questions? And Chair recognizes the senior senator from the 16th.
Thank you. Thank you, Delegate, for this. How can this fit into the farm to school? Would this allow, for example, people to donate produce or other things to the school to help with that shared table, be it farmers or anybody? And if so, how would that go about? How could someone bring in a bushel of apples or whatever for the children of a school to participate in the shared table initiative?
As long as it's okay with the county health department and the school board plan, I think it could work very well in conjunction. One is kind of part one, that is to say, getting the food to the school through the farmer program. And then part two with the shared table is how do we then take the food that isn't used and get it to those hungry children. So for instance, if farmers were to bring a bushel of apples and they're distributed with lunches and some kids said, no thanks, I don't want the apple, then those apples could go onto the shared table or into the backpacks and be distributed to the kids. Again, it's a no-cost issue, and the more food we have that it's not being eaten, that food can be directed to those children. So I think it'd work in conjunction, and there would be more food to share.
Well, good. Yeah, and Feed to Achieve allows even aspects where there's, the idea of charitable donation, and so the public, as long as they can plug into this is a great opportunity. And you're saying also that this food could be utilized for the backpack program as well, because I know there's a lot of initiatives throughout the state where they're always looking for food. And anything like this they could include in the backpacks, in particular on weekends when children aren't, necessarily at school, and they load up the backpack so they have something to eat over the weekend for the next, before Monday. That also fits in well with this initiative?
Absolutely. And you're right. I mean, the problem we have is many kids, when they have that lunch on Friday, are not going to have another nutritious meal till Monday morning. And what we ran into in the Huntington area was a couple of schools where they would go to the pantry and the kids would say, you know, can I have some food for the weekend? Could I have another couple for my brother or my sister? And they say, well, we're pretty low on our stores, so I can give you for you, but I can't give you. And then they say, well, I'll just share it. So you have, you know, 3 kids sharing, you know, a can of ravioli for the weekend. And so if there's anything we can do to increase the stores, again, by taking it, here's a statistic I thought was pretty astounding. If each school could save 2 pounds a day, and 2 pounds of trash, food trash, isn't very much, but if you could save 2 pounds a day at each school in West Virginia, in the course of a year, you would have 287,000 pounds of food taken from the landfill and put into the bellies of children. I mean, that's pretty astounding for a no-cost program to have between a quarter and a third of 1 million pounds. I think it'll be a lot more than 2 pounds a day that we're throwing away, but I hope whatever it is, we reduce all of it.